Hi, my name is Caitlin Quick, and I am a senior graduating in May, and my major is communication studies. So, over the centuries, rhetoric has been used as a tool of persuasion in written or spoken works in order to convince an audience of a certain outcome. It can be used by philosophers, scholars, political leaders, and many others in an effort to persuade one's intended audience to believe a certain idea. Many people have defined rhetoric differently, and people also have varying perspectives on the overall purpose and function of the term. Rhetoric is a relatively basic idea, however very complicated in practice. Because it can be approached and used so many different ways, people have developed different ways of defining the term. Cicero delivers the most clear and concise definition in saying rhetoric is speech designed to persuade. He then expands on this idea, but stating that this broad idea of rhetoric is comprised of 5 lesser parts that are all equally important and necessary in order to achieve the art of effective rhetoric. Included in these lesser parts are invention, arrangement, style, memory, and delivery. But he argues that these variables can differ depending on practice, custom, and speech. Therefore, effective rhetoric must change through societal cultures and through time. During the Renaissance, Erasmus provides a much more clear definition of rhetoric that embodies much more of its complexity. It implies that rhetoric is synonymous with elegance and states that it is made up partly on the words used, partly how they're used, and partly on the right combination of structures and phrases, and finally pulled together with style. This is a good definition of rhetoric because it provides a more full understanding of all the attributes that are necessary in order to use effective rhetoric. I would define rhetoric as a tool of persuasion that encompasses word choice, style, flow, and sound delivery to a specified audience. Its purpose is to persuade and convince a certain group, either in print, in person, or in public, of a given idea. I believe this is a more useful definition of rhetoric, particularly for students, because it gives a more well-rounded understanding of the term. Thinking about rhetoric as a tool will allow students to think about who their intended audience is, what they are trying to convince them of, and the best way to form speech in order to do so.